Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day number 2 of our third custom drag race tournament. We're going to jump right into the first round, which has Ragin' Ricky, Elber Galerga, Clyde, and Dusty Miles. Some of these are pretty popular racers, particularly with Dusty Miles, who currently has the lead. And will they get the win? Yes, they will, pretty easily, no less. And they put up an impressive time of 3.03. That is already the fastest time we've seen so far. Up until this point, in the first day, the fastest time pulled off was a 3.09. But Dusty Miles, who is known to grab speed records and sometimes hold on to them until the very end, is just shy of the 3-second mark. But into race number 2, Clyde is trying to catch up to Dusty Miles, who once again easily gets a victory. Did they break 3 seconds? No, they actually finished about a 1/10 of a second, actually 100th of a second slower. But hey, a victory is a victory regardless of how fast or slow you go. So Dusty Miles is already 2 wins in. Just shows how quick they are. And now they're just 1 win away from progressing automatically, and it looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. They have great control going down the straightaway, and they get their 3rd win. And they somehow, consecutively, are going 100th of a second slower each time. Let's see if in the 4th race, now that they have some breathing room, let's see if they can go even faster now. Because now they don't have that pressure when going up against these other 3. Here we go, the start of the race. Clyde was toe-to-toe with Dusty Miles for a second, but quickly lost it. And Dusty Miles wins again, finishing with a 3.05. And it looks like somebody lost their ID on the track right underneath the gate. Let's see if that was Clyde or somebody else. Now it looks like going over the finish line, Clyde might have lost their ID tag, or whatever that is. But it looks like their vehicle itself was not damaged. But now Dusty Miles is also undefeated. So far, everyone who's moved on has had that same honor. And on Group 2, we have Jesse the Taurus, Road Rage Racing, The Hammer, and Roxanne Marie. And we have another clear-cut victory here. And they will finish with a 3.12. So far, it looks like Dusty Miles is the one to keep your eye on, because they are one of only 3 racers who have finished under 3.10. With the others being Sugar Booty Racing, I believe, alongside Sneaky Bob. But I believe that was the Hammer who got the first win so far. Can they do it again? Just like Dusty Miles, it was a little bit clear-cut. And that seems to be the case here as they grab win number 2. Finishing at 3.12 once again. A lot of times in races like this, consistency is key. And they finished at least a 1/10 of a second faster than everybody else, which in a drag race like this is really good. So now the Hammer just needs 1 more win. And so far, everyone in this tournament who has won a race has not lost one yet either. And the Hammer keeps that going with a 3rd win, so they will be the next one to join the roster in the next round, finishing at least around the same time, but not quite exactly the same time. Meanwhile, these other 3 racers are staying actually pretty close to each other, but considering only 1 person can move on, that's not necessarily a good thing. So the Hammer already progresses, trying to keep the streak alive of having everyone who wins stay undefeated. And with a great start to that race, it looks like they're going to pull that off, and they will. So let's see what kind of time they had. That is a 3.13. So that is just about as consistent as you can get. I don't think we've had any racers yet finish at the same time all 4 times they've raced, but there will be plenty of opportunities for that to happen. So that is Group 2 done. The Hammer is the one progressing. And now for the 3rd round. And in said round, we have Lone Wolf 2, Ricochet, Rico the Robot, and Flip. I believe that is Flip Gambino, but I could be wrong. But Flip actually does get the first win. And these racers were evenly spread out. What kind of time did they have? A 3.03. An incredibly fast time. I believe that is actually tied with the speed record. Let's see if Flip can be the one to break 3 seconds or not. So now Flip is the one looking to stay undefeated, keeping that streak going. With this being the 3rd group in this video, that will mean that they would be the 7th in a row to pull off this impressive feat. And so far they are in great position to do so, finishing with 3.05 this time. It seems like in a lot of drag races, one particular racer has an edge over the other 3 who will stay relatively close together as they approach the finish line. And that is definitely the case here. Rico the Robot has been finishing in 2nd each time so far, so if anyone is going to somehow overtake Flip, it will most likely be them. But Flip is making it a challenge on the other 3 as they pull away once more, grabbing a 3rd win. So they will be joining the roster in the next round, finishing with 3.05 again. And they still have one more race to do if they want to keep that undefeated racer streak going. Because in the drag races, it's actually more impressive when we see someone who isn't undefeated move on. But Flip is definitely up there amongst the faster racers, so it's looking pretty good for them right now. Meanwhile, Lone Wolf, Ricochet, and Rico are definitely in trouble, as Flip does get that win. Was it fast enough to break the record? No, it was actually slightly slower. But that is okay. They will have more opportunities in later parts of the tournament to break 3 seconds. Now that is the 3rd spot filled for today, and I believe there is one left, at least in this video, so let's see who will take it. And in group number 4, we will be joined by Diane, Soren, Nick Devers, and Varied Skunkworks. And here we go. Actually, one racer already quickly fell behind, while Skunk and Nick fought for 1st place. I want to say Nick was able to grab it. But we actually have a non-finish in the drag races. That is a rarity. I'm not entirely sure what happened, but as the race began, it seemed like they got stuck for a moment, and they quickly fell behind. Let's check the replay again. You can see how far behind they already were. And then with the gateway there, it's hard to see them. The timer was definitely taking its time, calculating how fast everyone went. But it looks like... Oh, we have some putty melted. Let's see what that does. Is that going to affect everything or not? I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work. But the win was given to Nick. Can they do it again? They definitely have some rough contention alongside Skunk, so they cannot get too comfortable. But it looks like they will manage to get another win. But that is scary. Especially since we have another non-finish with the same racer as before. Were they the ones with the trouble with the putty? I'm not entirely sure, actually. But that could explain why they suddenly are going so slow even when going downhill and not finishing. I can't imagine how it feels to look forward to participating in a tournament only to have something like this happen. But their name will certainly be remembered one way or another, while Nick Devers grabs another victory. So they will be the next person to progress, while Soren, hopefully I'm saying that right, is getting another DNF. It's got to be something with the vehicle, because no matter what lane they're in, they're having the same issue. But for the leaders, Nick Devers is finishing in first every time, but Skunk has been giving them a run for their money, to be sure. But Nick Devers is one win away. Can they do it? Or will Skunk pull off an upset? It looks like they will not. Nick Devers remains undefeated. That is 8 racers in a row that have not lost a single race. Let's check up on Soren, because it looks like we will have somebody in the drag race tournament that never finished even once. My condolences to you. I cannot imagine how rough this must be. There you have it. 8 racers so far moving on, and all 8 keep that undefeated streak going. That's how it is so far. Hopefully, they at least gave Soren a point. I believe that is well earned, considering no one wants to go out with no points. Thank you all so much for watching. See you next time.